Hi, everyone. I'm in the background today. This is Sandy Sendler, and that's Joette waving at you. And Joette is going to do the live tonight and show you some amazing projects you can make using your Bowdabra. So, Joette, I'm going to let you take it away.
All right, thank you, Sandy. I'm going to start out tonight showing you how to use your scrap ribbons and just make a scrappy all-purpose bow. It's great for gift wrapping, even a hair bow if you make it to scale to the back of the right ponytail or head of hair. So what I've done now is I've taken a length of Bowdabra bow wire, I've folded it in half. I'm going to place it down in the large Bowdabra, tuck the ends underneath and out of the way. This could probably be easily made in the mini Bowdabra as well, but I'm using bigger strips, so we'll use the large. So I've already pre-dovetailed my strips and I'm just going to layer it by color. And so when you get to the end of a roll of ribbon and you have a little bit of ribbon left over, but it's not enough to do anything with it, cut it up in strips and dovetail it and just place it down in your whatever. So you can shape it as you place it down, or you could stack it and shape it at the end. So I'm just finding the center and I'm scrunching it in and I'm doing the mountain peak in the center and I'm bringing the edges up so it's making a valley around the mountain. So I'm placing that down. It makes it lay prettier when you do it that way. And now I've got some of our whimsy ribbon. This is our Bowdabra burlap wired ribbon. And this is some of our whimsy ribbon. It's not wired, but it's a nice stiff ribbon. So I'm finding the center. Again, I'm just scrunching it to make the mountain in the center. And I'm just making the X pattern with the ribbon going across. I'm going to continue. There's no right or wrong side for this ribbon.
Hi,
I'm not worried
Shirley.
about it.
Hi, everybody.
Uh, That looks like the center, and it doesn't have to be perfect. They don't have to be the same length. They can be odd lengths. That's what's good about this. So I'm making my mountain and my two valleys and laying it flat down in the Bowdabra. And it looks like it's ready for a scrunch. So I'm going to take my wand and push everything down in. You want to compress it really good so you can get more in. But if you've watched me, you know I can get a lot in this Bowdabra. So a few pieces of ribbon is nothing. So I'm going to continue layering. This is my third layer of a different ribbon. And now I've got some green, and these are much shorter. So again, I'm doing the same procedure, mountain in the middle, valleys on the side, and scrunch it down. And what's good about this ribbon is from a gift bow that I took apart. So I'm recycling it or upcycling. I'm
Just
going
so
to
everybody knows, you don't have to do the mountain in the middle. You can just lay your ribbon in. So,
right, you
and
can
and
layer.
I
Yeah.
do, I do my mountain um, when as I'm putting it in. I don't do it like Joette does it before she puts it in because I find it too difficult to do it in the air.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, and it turns out beautiful no matter what. Everybody's got their own way of making it. And that's what's good about Bowdabra. You can watch our tutorials and see all kinds of different ways to make all kinds of bows and florals as well. So this, I didn't use three here. I'm using just, I don't even know how many there was, probably 9 pieces, but it was a tail and some loops I cut off of a gift bow that I saved. You can save your birthday and Christmas ribbon and you get a pretty ribbon and you want to reuse it, you can cut it up and use it in the Bowdabra just like this. So this ribbon, this yellow, is from one of those blankets that you get at the plush blankets. I think that's what it's called. And they wrap them in ribbon, so it's not even wired. It's just a grosgrain ribbon, and I'm just placing it down in there. And it's a little bit more difficult to work with if you were trying to hold it, but using the Bowdabra, it's actually easy because it's not wired and it wants to jump out everywhere. So it's holding it in there perfectly. Now I've got my last piece of whimsy ribbon. And what I'm doing here is I'm going to curl the end under a couple of times and place it down straight in the center and just scrunch it down like that. And at the end now, it's got ends that they won't fray, but they're kind of, you don't want them sticking out. So I want them smooth looking. So I'm turning them under and then placing it down pushing it down like that. So I'm going to give it one more good scrunch. And this is a beautiful, colorful bow. It actually kind of looks like a flower when you're done, but it's not our flower bow. So I'm going to pull the wires out, pull the loose ends to the looped end, pull it tight while it's still in the Bowdabra. Remove it. I'm going to separate the ends, pull it tight again, bring them to the back, and I'm tying it in a knot. Now you could leave the wires on and tie them to something, or you can cut them off and glue it or tape it, whatever, however you attach it to whatever you're going to put it on, your form of attachment. I'm going to separate these, just kind of pull them out. Just get everything separated so it has its own place. Real easy. No, it's fluffing, but it's no pulling, no rounding out loops or anything. So you have everything's going to have its own place. Just stagger them out away from each other. So everything's showing. Should be one more of those. There it is. That's hard to see on camera because that whimsy ribbon's really neat to work with, but it doesn't show up as good on camera, but it's fun to layer with it. Okay, and that's it. You end up with this beautiful bow in no time at all, and that's pretty good size. It's big, and that's all scrap ribbons. So I'm going to set this aside. Kind of looks like a lily pad lily. It's really pretty. And I'm going to take another length of my Bowdabra bow wire. And this time I'm going to get it a little bit longer because I'm going to need it to wrap around something. Actually, a lantern. So I folded it in half. I'm going to tuck it ends underneath and out of my way. And this is going to be a really simple lantern swag. And I've just got it's a medium-sized lantern, so I don't want it too big, but I've got some of this pampas grass, and I'm just going to make this my top side. This will be my bottom, and I've kind of put a little hook on the bottom side so it doesn't slide out through the wire. So get it in there nice and tight, and I've got a eucalyptus stem or pick, and it looks like I have a wheat from a pick, or it is a pick. I'm going to place that in the bottom. So I want my top a little bit more fuller than the bottom. So that'll be my cascade. Now I have this last pick, but I'm going to layer it in the bow. So I'm going to lay it aside and I'm going to start out with a funky bow. And I'm using our natural burlap from Bowdabra.com. So I'm just going to scrunch one end. And I'm actually making one, I'm not doing the two tails, and I'm going to scrunch it. I'm making a loop and scrunching it and laying across the Bowdabra. So there's a loop and one tail. And I'm going to repeat that, but do the opposite side. You want to make sure you get the right side up because scrunch that in, give about a 1/2 inch, half inch or 1 inch overhang. Scrunch this and put that tail on the top and the loops on the bottom side. So I'm going to keep repeating, but I'm going to switch sides. It's upside down. And I'm going to place that on the top. Scrunch it. So I've got two loops now on the top, one on the bottom. I'm going to put the last loop on the bottom now. So scrunch it in from that 1 inch overhang or half inch. Fold your loop over and then scrunch your tail in. So I've got this here. That's I could stop now. That's really pretty, but I want to add a little more color to it. Also, I want to add this pick in. So I'm going to lay this pick in here now, little fall gourd pumpkin pick. And then I've got this yellow, and I want to make sure I could do this once, but I'm going to do it 2 times. I'm going to make a shoe bow, and that gives me the same look. It gives me the same one loop on one side and one tail on the other. So I'm crossing that over. And it's an easy way to make it stay kind of even. So again, you fold it in half and you put it in, find the center, put it in upside down where the center is, and then pull your loop over and make the tail in the loop. and do the same thing on the top. So that's it. Now this pumpkin can come up there when I pull it all together. I'm going to go ahead and scrunch it real good. And I'm going to take my loose ends from my Bowdabra bow wire, pull them through the looped end, makes a slip knot, pull it tight while it's still in the Bowdabra, remove it, and I'm going to keep pulling it tight, bring the back those loose ends to the back side, tie it in a nice tight knot, and then I'm going to give it a little bit of a fluffing to separate everything, and you want to round out your loops a little bit. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to pull the pumpkin that's on that pick to the center. There, now I couldn't get it separated. All right, I had some stubborn ribbon. So
And
that's my top.
I just want to remind everybody that we have over 1,000 videos of how-to videos on our YouTube channel. So make sure that you definitely check that out.
And I've taken these two loose wires and I'm going to pull them to the back side of the lantern. I can adjust it once I don't have it where I want it right there. So pulling it tight, I can give it a twist to get it to hold in place. I can either tie it in a knot or tie it in a shoe bow, but if I tie it in a little shoe bow in the back, it's not going to show, and it's also reusable for the next season. This is a great little uh, lantern wreath that'll, or swag that'll get you through, transition you through summer and fall. So I'm going to set this aside. That was real simple and quick to make. You got to spruce something up really fast, get company on the way, and you can throw one of those together real fast with scraps. You don't even have to make a run to the store. So I'm going to take another length of my Bowdabra bow wire and fold it in half. And I'm going to, should have made it a little bit longer, but that's all right, it'll work. I'm not going to tie it onto anything. Put it in there, tuck the ends underneath and out of my way. And I'm going to take some of this deco mesh and I'm going to take it and curl my ends under to hide any fraying about 3 times. That way it can't come undone. And I'm going to just crunch it down the center. I think I'm in the center. Check. Yeah, and then just do this, scrunch it. And you can add as much or as little as you want because you're making the base and the backing to a door bow. You could also use this method to make a centerpiece. Okay, I'm gonna leave it at that. That's probably about 2 yards. I'm gonna cut this loose. That's an easy way to control it too. Leave it on the roll and then cut it off. Trying to keep a straight line. All right, let me set that down. So now I'm at the end. I'm gonna turn it so you can see. So I've curled those ends under about 3 times, and then I'm going to just push them down all the way to the bottom. That also gives me kind of a nice little floral. I can see where I didn't get it straight. That's all right. Um, it gives it, you can pull it while it's still in the Bowdabra and get it straight. Gives you a nice little floral look backing, and when you take it out, it'll fluff up even more. So now I'm going to take, let's see what I have here. I'm going to have tails because it's a door bow. I guess I'll make this my bottom here. So I'm taking some hanging amaranthus. I'm going to fold it in half and just place it down in the Bowdabra. I don't know if you can see it. I want to move it. And then I'm going to take my ribbon now and make some tails to go with it. I'm going to add some yellow. So to make the tails, I've already dovetailed them. I'm going to fold them in half to find the center and just hang them down with the floral. Got my orange, so find the center. They don't have to be perfectly even. It's pretty either way. All right, so those are in. I've got my tails, and I'm going to add some of these fall leaves. I'm just going to put, doesn't matter, I've only got 3. You can use as many as you want. I'm just kind of making a circle with a triangle makes a circle in floral designing. Make a little triangle of them there. And now I'm just going to start using my pumpkin ribbon and making the one-sided funky bow again. So place it upside down and then bring a loop across and scrunch in your tail. And just continue to do this going from side to side. So upside down, fold the loop, and make the tail. And a good thing, reason I do my pattern ribbons, because it's directional like this, is because it actually will help keep it going the right direction. I won't have some going upside down, and it's neat to keep it going the same direction if you can. So place it upside down, 1 inch overhang, make that loop, and you can
Mary
just pull
says
your
she
tails
loves the
over.
fall. She loves the fall colors, and she's watching from Southern Illinois.
Hi, thank you. I love them too. I want to use them as long as I can because we kind of miss out on a lot of fall because of Halloween and Christmas takes over and we get fall gets ripped off. All right, so just continue and then I don't even know how many, we'll probably have about 3 loops on each side. So find your end, place that 1 inch overhang, 1/2 inch, bring the tail over. None of these have to even be even. It doesn't matter. It'll all turn out really beautiful. Just keep going from side to side so your tails get distributed equally. And 'cause using the tails like this actually helps save making loops. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a good scrunch. When you're using deco mesh, it'll push it up a little bit. We'll scrunch it down. And I've got some burlap. Get it where I can reach it. So I'm just continuing with the burlap that I use for the tails. There's a right side, wrong side. Okay, put it. So I left off here. I'm going to switch sides, place that in, make the loop, and bring the tail over. Do the same. Here it is. Put it upside down, flip it over, and it's on the right side, and bring the tail there. And I've got my yellow now. I'm kind of bringing the colors back up and it's hard to see that wire, but this is Bowdabra burlap. We have so many colors and sizes of it at bowdabra.com, and it does have a little bit of an edge of a wire showing, but even if you get it upside down, it's no big deal. You can barely see it. I just don't like to get it upside down. All right, so I do place it upside down, flip it over so it's right side up, across the tail. And then I have got this little pine cone pick, and I've got this little piece of scrap ribbon left over. This could be made in scraps so easily. You don't even have to use a whole roll, but I'm folding this in half and I'm going to scrunch the center. I need to make sure I don't know if I got it lined up the right direction, but I'm going to place it in and I'm just going to put this little end here. Instead of making a single button loop, I'm doing a double button loop. I place that there. And I can place this here. Actually, I'm going to put the pine cone there. And then I've got my little circle there. I'm going to start it over and put it back in though, so that everything's even and I know it's going to catch. So I've got 2 little button loops and this pine cone will sit in between the button loops. I'm going to pull my looped end up of my Bowdabra bow wire, find my loose ends. There's 2, another, okay, there they are. Bring them up, pull them through the looped end, pull it tight. Once it's tight, you can remove it. Okay, now we want to separate those ends and continually pulling it tight. And you want to go all the way to the back. And again, pull it tight. You can't get it tight enough. When you're doing this and getting it tight, you're securing it where you don't have to go back and use hot glue. If you noticed, I don't have any hot glue out tonight. And now, don't want that to be the top or the bottom. Just going to fluff it out. So you want to make a circular shape with your mesh and then just pull out your loops, bend that pine cone in the center and fluff your loops. I kind of separated as I was making it. I've got leaves in here. I want to make sure my leaves are showing Get them here, round out your loops. It's pretty well separated, being a funky bow. It's funky bow anyway, because I didn't use two tails on each side, just one. And you end
Can
up
you
with,
lay that on the table so we can see what you're doing? Okay, thank you.
yeah, I'm just shaping my loops and separating everything. So I want my loops all rounded out. But you end up with this beautiful door bow or whatever you can put it on a wreath, whatever you want. And it's so simple and easy, and there's hardly anything to it. So I'm going to set this aside, and I'm going to make a wreath now. So I'm going to start out with a length of whatever bow wire. I'm going to make it a little bit longer because I'm going to want to tie it onto something, to a wreath. So I'm going to fold it in half and get my ends even. Place it down in the Bowdabra. Cut my ends underneath out of the way. And I'm going to start out with, get room so you can see the bottom. I'm just going to start layering some stems and some picks and some bushes that I have accumulated. And it's going to be one of those transitional pieces that can be fall, summer into fall. So I'm going to put these wisterias, and you can bend those so that they don't slip. This is a long one, so I'm going to try to keep it where you can see. I've got that, just bend that. I've got two wisteria stems, and then I've got some bushes. So you can get these bushes real cheap at Amazon. You can use Dollar Tree bushes, Hobby Lobby, get stuff while it's on sale. So I'm going to keep layering. This is a little bush that, and I've got it kind of separated. I've got the shorter branches on one side and the longer on that side, and I'm bending it down like that. And I'm going to place it down in the Bowdabra. So I've got the shorter pieces on top. I like to cascade the bottom and uh, kind of teardrop the top. Now I've got some purple pampas grass, and if I don't like where if I want it underneath something, I can just reach up under there and place it, kind of lift it up and give me a place to put it. You don't have to take everything out, so I can design it. It holds it for me. Bowdabra holds everything while I design. Oh, let's see. I'm gonna place another pampas grass, different color, but this is a transitional summer fall piece. Again, you can use purple. I love using purple in fall foliage. This normally hangs, but I'm going to make it go to this side. So I'm going to bend it a little bit and just hang it over here, the side. And now I'm going to start layering my sunflowers. And I've got three of these. And I have just a very simple bow I'm going to add in here. You can do the bow separate, but I've left a little gap here so I can add that. And you know what? I'm going to put this hydrangea in here. I'm going to bend my stem a little bit so it can't slip. I'm going to put it right, let's see, I'm going to put it at the top. It helps my teardrop fill in. So now I'm going to take some ribbon and put a tail. This is some, it's just basic, or not 2.5 inch wide uh, burlap, wire burlap. I need to dovetail the ends. You can curl them or dovetail them. I'm gonna go ahead and dovetail them. So I've just put the ends together, folded them in half, and I'm going to cut from the wire edges all at an angle to the inside center, and I get a nice clean dovetail cut. So I'm going to find the right side and hang them down. And then I'm taking this velvet, which is not wired, and it's maybe longer, I don't know, I'm finding the center, and I'm going to layer it on top. of the burlap. So makes that burlap, that rustic looking burlap, have a touch of elegance to it. So I'm not even going to shape the ends of that. I'm going to leave them cut straight. Next, I'm just going to take a length, probably a yard and a half. I've already dovetailed the ends, folding it in half and placing it down in here. I'm just going to make a shoe bow. This way the florals are going to be the main focal point, but the bow is going to add a touch of fall and rustic and elegance. And the same thing here. Let's see, I've got some foliage here. I think I'm going to layer some into the ribbon. Again, you could just do the bow separately, but it's such a small bow, it's not going to make a big difference. So I'm going to find the center. I did do, I did cut the ends of that. Fold it in half, place it in upside down, and it's just going to be a little shoe bow as well. But I'm really going to be small because it's not wired. And so we want it to hang pretty decent. Don't want it, you don't want the inside, it's showing like it's twisted or something. You want it to look
Well, when I
a
find
full
this with
loop.
unwired, when I find this with an unwired ribbon like that, the loops get floppy.
That's what, yeah. So you want to bring it in shorter and tighter when you're doing the floppy loops. And then you can put something like this on top of it to help accent it. I could have put more loops of the velvet, but I didn't want to fight with it. And it's going to be enough just to have that touch of color to blend it all together. So I'm going to reach under here and get my wire. And I'm going to pull the loose ends to the looped end and pull it tight while it's in the Bowdabra. Remove it. Look at all that. I can just hold it, no hot glue. Keep pulling it tight so you don't need hot glue. And then you want to separate the wires and go all the way to the back. Go through exactly, follow exactly how the wires went. So you're, make sure there's going to be some stems that are going to be in your way. You want to get back to your original spot. Okay, tie it tight, pull it tight, twist it if you need to get it to stay, and then tie it up. And now you want to flip it over and fluff everything. And you could actually use that backing like I just did with the door bow, and you could use this and make a door bow as well too. But you just fluff it up, pull your tails, give them a spot, and whatever. I can't see it because it's so large, but you have this, and it's not shaped. It's not at all shaped like I want it. But I'm just giving you an idea here. I'm gonna pull those tails down, and then I would take it and get a grapevine wreath, and then attach it. And I usually go where the wire is about 10 o'clock, and I'm going to go ahead and attempt that because this is big. This is one I need to stand up to make it when it gets this big. All right, I'm going to tie it and twist it. And now you could go back and secure it with hot glue if you need to, especially if you're selling it or something. But as far as your personal use, you can actually reuse your grapevine wreath over and over again by just doing it like this. And I'm sorry, I can't get a hold of it to get it all in the camera, but you end up with a beautiful wreath like
Oh, it's
this.
beautiful. Yeah, that's good, Joette. We
Thank
can
you.
see it now. It's
Okay.
hard to get the whole thing in the camera.
It is. Do we have time for one more?
No, we're out of time, but why don't you just do a quick recap of what you've made?
Okay, well, we just made this big old wreath, and I don't have it secured yet. And we made this lantern swag, and we made this door bow.
That came out so
Something's
pretty.
caught on, something's caught. Oh, there it is. We made a beautiful door bow. With all this was minimal items. And then we started out with this scrappy bow that we made with just bits and pieces of different pieces of ribbon. And it kind of looks like a little lily pad to me. But
Thank you
that's it.
so
And you could
much,
just
Joette. That's beautiful.
thank
And
you.
everybody, thank you for joining us. And Joette will be back next week with another great live. So
Let's
thanks everybody so much.
thank